G'day and welcome back to Baz's Chooking. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I do my beef jerky. Now this does take some time, a few days in fact, so I do like doing a lot. Today we've got just under 8 kilos of topside that we're going to get into. This is absolutely worth it. So without further ado, let's get stuck into it. Like I said before, this is just under 8 kilo topside. The reason we're doing topside is because it's a nice lean piece of meat, which is just what you want for jerky, because the fat is the first thing that spoils. Not that it'll last that long in the cupboard anyway, because we absolutely smash it, but you do want to try and get the majority of this fat off. So we're just going to go through and just take off everything. If you're worried about fat running in through the meat through there, don't stress too much, because when we slice in our jerky we can always take it off then as well. So don't stress too much if you can't get it all out now. I'm pretty happy with that. We'll flip it over. Same thing on the bottom, just get any real big chunks of fat and this silver skin off. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. Like I said before, all these bits in here we can slice out when we're cutting our actual slices for the jerky. But before we do that, we're going to throw this in the freezer for about an hour or so, just to firm up these edges so it's easier to slice. So I'm going to cut this roughly in half. It's a lot thicker here. Look at that. Sweet as. Wrap these up, get them in the freezer. Now I was curious to see how close in half I actually got these, so we are 2.7 and 2.9, 200 grams off. That's not bad. So we've probably lost about 1.5 kilos in fat, just if you wanted to know. Alright, so it's been about 2 hours and our edges have firmed up a bit. So now it's time to unwrap and slice, but as always, first thing is first. Beautiful. So just to make it a bit easier, I'll chop this straight down the middle. So the grain of our meat is running along this way, so I'm going to cut this way across the grain, just so the jerky's not as chewy as what it would be going with the grains. So you can hopefully see small crosses in there, cutting across the grain. Now what throwing it in the freezer does is, hopefully you can see the outside of it is a lot firmer than what the inside is. Just allows you to get more even slices. That's only half. It's a much better, much easier piece to try and show you, but we're gonna aim for about 1/2 centimetre. Like I was saying before, this bit we can cut out if you want. Alright, that's our 2.9 kilos worth of jerky. Right, now that's done, we'll set that aside and go prep the marinade. Alright, for our marinade, I always do these 3 as a base, just to fill out and get it in. So, barbecue sauce, soy sauce, and Worcester. Start with our barbecue, soy, and our Worcester. Now this is where I normally change it up, but today we are going some Thai red curry paste, some hoisin sauce, and some oyster sauce. We're also throwing in some Tabasco. Give it a stir. When you're happy with it, give it a little taste. Do a splash more Worcester. Give it another taste. That's better. Right, now we're going to get our beef. Now what we'll do, just get a big Ziploc bag. We'll load in a couple handfuls of our beef. And then we'll spoon in some of the marinade. like so. Pour the rest in. Now we're just gonna close the majority up, squeeze the air out, zip it tight. Right, now we're just gonna give it a really good massage to try and break up any big chunks of meat and get that marinated all around. What we do is we stick this in the fridge at least 24 hours, overnight if you're in a rush, but today we are not. So I'm gonna stick it in the fridge for 24 hours and then halfway through, I'm just gonna come back and do the same thing. Take it out, move it around, flip it over, just to try and get it all nice and covered and coated. And there we have it, our 2.9 kilos of jerky. All right, this is gonna go in the fridge and we'll see you tomorrow. Alrighty, day 2. It is now time to firstly rehydrate so we can then dehydrate our jerky, of course. Alright, I know the current dehydrator I've got, if I do 2 strips of 5 paper towels, then I'm gonna have the perfect amount of jerky that'll actually fit on my dehydrator. Our jerky. We'll open her up. Like I said yesterday, this was in for 24 hours. And you can see our marinade has completely soaked through and we are good to go. So all we're going to do is literally slap them down on there. If you do find pieces with a lot of marinade and are dripping, just scrape them off into the bag because we want any excess marinade off our jerky. Cool, we've got about half left. That'll go back in the fridge for tomorrow's batch. Again, we just go straight over the top with another 5 pieces of paper towel. And we just pat it dry. There we go. Give any other damp bits you see a pat down. Cool, now we're ready for our dry seasonings. Alright, I like keeping this very simple. We just do half and half. One with chili, one with freshly cracked black pepper. So we'll go ahead and start doing that. Our other half with chili. There's our pepper, and there's our chili. Alright, we'll get these on the trays and then into the dehydrator. This is just one big game of Tetris, which my missus loves, but never seems to want to do this one, so it's left with me, and I absolutely suck at Tetris. So we want to try and have an even gap. Doesn't have to be even, but just a gap between our bits of jerky so the hot air can come up in between these grates. 1 down, 4 to go. Alright, now we'll get these in the dehydrator at about 65 degrees for about 8 hours, and then we'll check them. Well, there we have it. This actually took a total of 10 hours in the dehydrator. That's what I mean, when you go and check it, you want to be looking for this nice bend with the white fibers coming through, as you can see here. If it is still feeling a little bit rubbery and when you bend it you can't see those white fibers yet, you want to keep cooking for that little bit longer. But if you have reached a point where it's starting to snap, that's when you've overcooked it. You probably want to take it out and start eating. I've got about 600 grams left here. I think the total weight after everything was cooked was around 1.6. So I think we've eaten about 1 kilo already. That's how bloody good it is. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. Anyway, we'll see you guys on the next one. We are... Can't read that upside down. Half of it's on the table as well. Half it's on the table. No, it's just lifted it up. 2.7. See the grain running that way. No. So you can actually see, hopefully, the grain of the meat running this way. So what we're going to do, we'll wait for these police sirens to go. So the grain of our meat is running along this way. Huh. 2 strips of 5 paper towels. Jesus Christ, made that look hard. Now we just go straight over the top again with another 5 pieces of paper towel. That's 4. You. That. Off, you little. Oh, for sake. Oh, that's a big boy. It's my bit. Woo! That's a schnitzel.